what's up? It's Shreebers1 here, just a 10-second bite out of this video. And today, I'm bringing you something a little bit different here. Today, we got some StarCraft 2 gameplay and commentary. And I know most people who have subbed to my channel haven't really seen this game on my channel. And this is a pretty widespread, well-known game. It's definitely known for its esports scene. It's a very competitively played game in Korea and all of that. So if you guys want me to continue posting some StarCraft 2 gameplay, just post a comment. It's not going to be insanely good gameplay. It's going to be quite average gameplay in around Gold and Platinum League. So if you guys want some tips or want to buy the game, go for it. It's pretty good. And in these videos, I'm gonna try my best to explain everything to you. So what there is in this game is a real-time strategy game where you build and manage an economy and army, and your goal is to pretty much just kill the enemy player. So right here, I am Bagels. This is me right here on this side. And this is this guy. I am actually going to change my name to Treebro soon, because I do have a free name change on my Blizzard account. And this guy, I am versing Avenger. So it is a Zerg versus Zerg. And there is 3 races in this game. The Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. I play Zerg. I just think they're a really cool and fun race. They're kind of like bugs and, you know, kind of insects and blah, blah, blah. Well, Terrans are like military and Marines and, you know, Space Marines. And Protoss is a really high-tech, highly advanced kind of civilization. So, the game is all about making the economy happen. So what happens is you start off with your main building and 6 workers. So as you can see, I have made more than 6. But out of this building, you start making workers, and what they go do is they go mine these little mineral patches, giving you money. And then the money can be used to make buildings, which allow you to make units, and so on. Right here is a gas extractor, where you get gas. Gas is also used to make units, but you don't start off able to mine it. You have to build an extractor in order to get at it, and then send drones or probes or SCVs to mine it. Probes and SCVs are the other workers from the other races. Now, I would like to show another race, but I haven't got... this is the only decent game I actually got. That was... this is the only recent game that I had that was actually decent. Because all I've been getting is ZVZs, and it's pretty annoying, because it's probably my least favorite matchup, because, you know, it's not enough variety. But, here... And... So this building is the very first building in the Zerg tech tree. It's called a spawning pool, and it allows you to make Zerglings. So let's see if there's any Zerglings on the map. No, there isn't. There's no Zerglings currently on the map, but what you kind of want to do, in order to win the game, there's a lot of ways to win it. There's some Zerglings. So these guys are damaging units. Workers can attack, but they deal very low damage and have very low health. That's the difference. Will I be able to kill this worker? Workers are very important because they're pretty much, the more workers you have, the more money you're going to get, and the more money, the more units. It's a very simple concept. So, it kind of gives that, kind of greed aspect of the game, because if, let's say you go way too greedy, the guy could get a lot of early units while you're only building workers. And then you'll be very good, and for late game, you'll have a ton of workers going for late game. But that won't matter if he already has an army and you don't. You only have workers. So it's a really kind of greed concept where you don't want to be too greedy, but you really want to get that balance of workers and actual units. And another thing in this game is called scouting. So what scouting does is it lets you see what your other opponent is what units he's getting. So let's go to my vision here. So I'm 2. So let's see what I see. I see a spawning pool. That's it. So he doesn't really have anything else. He has double gas. That's something to note. Sometimes you can see how much gas they're extracting. And then if they're extracting a lot, you might assume that they're going for some kind of high technological unit. But yeah, all he has is a spawning pool. So that's the only thing he can make is that tier 1 unit Zergling. And that's not too hard to kill. But what I am making, I have a baneling's nest. So what this does is it's a hard counter to baneling, hard counter to zerglings. What a baneling does is it explodes on impact. So zerglings are melee units. They're very fragile, easy to kill, but you can create a lot of them at once. So as you see here, boom. See, banelings are a complete hard counter to zerglings. But this is a really good segue to two things they call in this game called macro and micro. Macro, when you're first getting into the game, is probably the most important. Macro is the ability to produce units. It's how fast and how efficient you can produce units and economy and expand and all that. I'll explain expanding in a second. But it's just how much units you could pump out, how fast you can, how, just to stay on top of constantly producing units. Well, micro is kind of the other side of that, where it's your ability to control units. And your ability to use the mechanics of the game in your favor to control your units. So right here, I kind of do a run by. But he actually ends up just going for my base. Yeah, so I'm going to have to end up defending that. But, so, micro is how well you control your units, and it is important, but it's definitely not as important in lower levels of play as macro, where you're going to want to get as much units as humanly possible. Because the more units you have, the better you produce them, the faster you produce them, the better. Okay, so earlier in the game you mentioned expansions. So what you start off with a hatchery and six units, or your main base. It could be a command center, a nexus, or a hatchery. In this case, that's a layer, that's upgraded hatchery. But your tier 1 is hatchery, your tier 2 is layer, and I don't have a hive, but your hive is the tier 3 hatchery. So what you do is, these things are where the workers go get their minerals and gas. So what you want to do is you want to build one close to the mineral set, and then send some drones there. It lets you have more workers harvesting minerals at a closer distance. So it's really good, and it's one of the vital things in StarCraft 2 about getting those expands up and controlling them, defending them, and using them to their full effectiveness. So right here we actually have a battle going on that I've lost. Sorry, I'm just trying to explain the game to some of the new people. But he ended up holding off an attack I got. So now we are going to be going into some kind of 2.5 or tier 2 units. The Spire is our tier 2 unit, or the Mutalisk, I should say, is a tier 2 unit. And it's a flying, fast-moving, kind of low damage, but fast and flying, and you can, in big numbers, are devastating. So right here is a Mutalisk. They're tier 2 units, and as they cost a lot of money. They cost 100 minerals and 100 gas, I believe. So, they are quite hefty to get out, but they're really good for just flanking around the back and killing all their workers, hurting their economy, and hurting their late game staying power. So, as you can see, right here, I have a huge advantage. Why? Because I'm up a base, that's one. I have more production. Zerg, you also produce units out of these things called larvae. So the more hatcheries, the more production you actually have, which is why it's very good for a Zerg to expand early and expand often. And right here I have 3 expansions, and let's see the drone count. Let's see the worker count. Income. So right here, he has 26 harvesters. Let's see, 6 and 14, 26. I have 47. That's a huge advantage, like, with this economy, I could just keep pumping out lings and everything. And there's almost nothing he could do. So, economy is a really big factor. You're going to want to get the drones out. See, I'm producing drones. If you look at my production tab, I'm actually producing something called upgrades, too. So, these upgrades happen in, for air units, for Zerg, for air units, upgrades happen in the Spire. Well, for ground units, upgrades happen in the evolution chamber. So you could melee attack. You could get upgrades for melee attack, missile attack, and carapace, which is your armor and defense. So using these upgrades, obviously, when you have a large I was about to say team battle, playing too much League of Legends. But when you have a large battle, upgrades really matter, because every extra hit that counts, it means something. So you really want to get those upgrades. They're very important. Not really in the early leagues, but they do help. But they are very important in the later leagues. So right here I'm getting an infestation pit, which is needed in order to get the hive, which is mainly why I'm getting it, so I could get the hive. But one thing I still haven't explained this game is in the top right corner, you could see that this guy is supply blocked. And what this means is how much units you can make, how much supply of units you can make. Let's see. Here's a good example. A Zergling costs 0.5 of a supply. That means for every supply you make, it's only 0.5 supply. So for every supply you make, you get 2 Zerglings, which is really cool. But after you've made those Zerglings, you know you're gonna want to get higher quality units. So the Mutalisk is actually 2 supply. So it really depends on what unit you're getting. But supply is kind of counted. You could create more supply, allowing you to make more units by doing a couple simple things. But if for Zerg it's making Overlords, which is this unit right here. For Terran it's building supply depots. And for Protoss it's building pylons. But guys, sorry, it was a really quick commentary. I ended up kind of destroying this guy. I just got a lot of mutas, and my Zerglings got into his main base. All he had was Mutalisk. He couldn't really do much against it because he couldn't kill my Zerglings fast enough. And then he just quits out. But guys, if you guys want to know more about StarCraft 2, maybe I'll make a maybe a beginner's guide if you guys want. You know, want to see commentaries and stuff. I've actually been planning on doing some League of Legends commentaries too. So if you guys want to do that too, that would be good. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.